everyone, welcome to Barre Basics, your tip for week 1. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to be talking about Releve. And I'm going to be demonstrating Releve. I'm going to show you some common mistakes that I see in Releve so you feel a little bit more confident for our next class. So let's start with the basics. What is Releve? So as you might know, Barre comes primarily from 3 disciplines: Pilates, yoga, and ballet. And Releve comes from ballet. So Releve means to rise in French, or something like that. And the point of Releve is that we're bringing the weight onto the ball of the foot. So rather than standing, sometimes you'll hear me say, press down into all 4 corners of the foot. There should be the weight across your foot. Maybe I'll ask you to shift your weight back over your heels for certain moves. And Releve, we're doing the opposite. We're coming onto the ball of the foot. So why do we do Releve to begin with? Well, for starters, it's a great way without impact to strengthen the feet, the shins, the calves, just the legs in general. It also helps keep us in that great alignment. So you hear me say ears over shoulders, over hips, over heels, and Releve is one way to maintain that great form. It also, at least for me, I find it helps my balance a lot. So if you come to my intermediate or advanced classes, we'll be doing a lot more moves in Releve, including balance in Releve. So even doing Releve with both feet is a balance challenge, but as you begin to progress, doing it with one is even bigger challenge. It's still a challenge for me, and I'm several years into Barre. So some of the common positions we'll be using Releve for would be something like parallel, V position. We'll start working into it in wide second. And as you progress, you'll get options to do holds in Releve. Maybe after we do a set of triceps, they'll say, okay, pop up into Releve. So it's really throughout the class. There are some positions like wide second where you'll never have to go into Releve, but for some like parallel and V, I need you in Releve because that's going to put you in proper alignment. Releve might feel a little bit weird at first, especially if it's new to you, and especially if you spend your time working out in shoes, because that's how most of us work out, is in shoes. So our feet are not necessarily as strong as we'd like them to be. I know mine weren't when I started out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust the camera so you can get a better close-up of my feet, which don't we all love that, to see what Releve does and does not look like. Okay. So I've got my little mat right here. And hopefully this is going to work. Okay, perfect. They're my feet. Aren't they lovely? Okay, so here I am in a parallel hips distance. So let me show you that from the front. There's my parallel hips distance. So if I'm going to be working in parallel, I'm going to need to come up into Releve. So that means I'm going to shift the weight forward onto the ball of the foot as I start to raise the heels up. So I'm going straight up and down. And then to start working, I'm going to slide down the imaginary wall. So again, you can't see ears over shoulders, but hips are over heels. So let me show that from the side because actually I think that's the view that we all want to see. And then we'll zoom back out to show you the alignment. So here I am again in a good parallel hips distance to go into Releve, shifting the weight forward onto the balls of the feet. So here I am raising up. Some people say it's putting on the high heels on. And then I'm going to slide down the imaginary wall. So as you can see, the hips are still over the heels. When I started, my Releve was probably here. And now because my feet are nice and strong, I can come all the way up. So let me show you some of the common challenges I see with Releve. The first that I see is people just aren't coming all the way up into the heel, if you were. So I'll say, go into Releve, and people will be here and then bend their knees. What's the problem with that? Well, the most important thing is that if we're in this position, we're trying to work the quads. And this is just not a lot of quad work. As I come down, I'm even more out of alignment. My knees are even further away from my heels. This also dumps pressure into the low back. I can feel it right now. And then you might start gripping your glutes. So it might be hard when you're starting. I'm gesturing as if you can see my face. It might be hard when you're starting to spend a lot of time in Releve. I have a foot strengthening video that I will put in the comments below. But you can't build foot strength from here. That's just not going to work. So that's the first mistake I see. Another common mistake I see is people might be up in Releve, but then they're either too far forward, or they can't really do this in this chair because it's going to move, as you can see, or they start pulling back. And that's a general alignment challenge where their ears aren't over shoulders, over hips, over heels. So if Barre's new to you, one thing I might suggest is that you find a mirror to practice in front of it first, or at least to check your alignment. Or you could also take some photo or videos of yourself, as weird as that is, to see what that looks like. So again, proper releve form is coming up onto the ball of the foot. Now, there's another failure pattern. I'm going to have to turn this way to show it to you, which is where does most of our weight go? So not surprisingly, the foot is stronger towards the inside, where the big toes are. So if I come up onto releve and slide down the wall, I want more weight on the foot towards the midline of the body, being the second toe. Another common thing I see is people starting to sickle. So the ankles will sickle, or they're distributing weight unevenly. So I want you to think about, and maybe you have that Pilates ball, like you could squeeze a ball between your legs. The same thing happens when we come into V position. So here I am coming up under the ball of my foot, sliding down, bringing those heels together, and sometimes I see the legs start to drift open. If it's harder for you in the quads, you can come up, but again, the farther down that we come, the more that we're going to see everything work the way that it needs to. Okay, so you don't get to see my head, but you know what my head looks like. So as a reminder, here I am up in releve. So you can see nice and tall, ears over shoulders, hips over heels. As I slide down the wall, you can see me. As I slide down the wall, those knees are pointed straight ahead and parallel. Over time, what happens? Those heels want to come down. So you hear me say pop the heels again. If it's too difficult for you, what I want you to do is actually come up, drop the heels for a moment, get a moment of rest, and then come back in again. Whew, I'm already shaking. So releve, again, is pretty tricky, and it's going to take some practice, possibly for you if it's new to you. So again, look down below. I'll put my foot strengthening segment down there for you to check out. It has 2 foot warm-ups, 3 foot strengthening exercises, and 2 foot stretches. This is a great workout that you can do when you're watching TV or reading a book, or to be honest, I do one of the standing ones when I'm in line. So there are a lot of ways to strengthen your feet, and just doing bar over time is going to continue to help you make your feet stronger. So thanks for tuning in to this week's tip. This is our week 1 tip. I hope you'll come back next week for another bar tip to help you stay strong as you go through bar basics. Thanks, everyone. Bye.